All right, let's welcome our audience. I am Dan Mora, and this is my co-host, Frank Smithson.
Howdy.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
Awesome.
How about you?
I'm good, man. Yeah, can't complain. Wouldn't do any good anyway. Nobody listens.
For sure. I know I wouldn't.
So for this show, we're going to focus on just a brief history of Gemini. So, I am the founder and CEO of Gemini. I'm lucky enough to still be here. This has been quite what an incredible, rewarding thing for me as a human, man. What a cool thing to be employing now over 150 people and remembering back to the the early struggle days. And it's been now almost 18 years. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Maybe you could walk us through a little bit of the history, kind of how'd you get started?
Yeah. Okay. Well, great question. I mean, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. So starting a business, my brothers and sisters and my dad and my mom, we've all had our foray into entrepreneurship at one time or another. So I was introduced to this industry back in 2002. I started off as a subpoena. I served subpoena and scanned records. This was right on the early days of scanners. So I was, everything was, first off, all the medical files were paper-based, it's changed a lot in this time. And then you had guys like myself or gals like myself that were still copying paper to paper, and or they used, and I can't remember the name of these machines, but people that have history in this industry, they'll remember them, but they were like, they took a photo. It was like a film-based take photo of the records, and you fed it through, had like an automatic kind of feed system where it would trigger and take a picture, and they were fast, and a lot of people, that's, I think, where this industry kind of accelerated, was that technology. So I started off with scanners, because everything was digital, or it's turning digital, in 2002, serving subpoena scanning records. I got a little bit of experience. Then I moved on to the inside of the business for a little while. Ultimately ended up in sales, and that's where things kind of accelerated for me. Did well in sales, and the time came for me to strike out on my own, and it was a leap. It was a leap of faith. It was a big thing. I had a small child, and I had a child on the way, and I was newly married. We had just moved to a different out of our hometown. So I had bought a house. So that was, it was kind of a risk. And, I started, I had this theory and this premise, and that's what motivated me, when I thought was an important competitive advantage, something that I felt like I could stand out with. And that was just this very, very simple respect. I know it sounds simple, but what I observed with, I'd say, it's most leadership and most business owners, I felt like I could just do that one little piece better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a good call. It ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah. No, it was. And so, I mean, it's logical, right? I'm a startup, so I'm trying to hire employees after a few months, and I'm trying to attract people to something. What is this? I have no idea what this is. Even explaining it to my family and friends years later, they're still like, I still don't get what you do. What do? You work for the mafia? What do? You dealing drugs? No. It's just so, like attracting people. I knew that I needed to attract people and keep people. And the culture, the really basic culture of respect was how I felt confident in doing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in work comp, I've been in this industry for a while now myself.
11 years, 12 years?
Coming up on 12 maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I got issues with my anniversary date. I actually don't know when it technically is. So I would say to anybody that's interested in getting into this industry, like, you're crazy. Like, don't do it. There's so much going on, and it's so difficult to like actually get into this industry and to be able to make any significant impact or even have a successful business is very difficult. So you're working for a company, recognize there's respect for people that could, you know, maybe give you a competitive advantage, but why even stick in the industry with such complexities?
Yeah. Well, I would say that when I was introduced to this industry, what I noticed immediately, my whole family entrepreneurship growing up was dealing with consumers and dealing with public market, carpentry, dealing with homeowners, what have you. What really intrigued me and caused me to take a job in this industry, and backing up where I was at that time, it was a friend of a friend that introduced me to the industry. And at that point, I had a small business, a very small business that I was trying to start. In hindsight, it was utter, I was doing the wrong things as a small business, but I was only open for a couple of months. And so I didn't shoot off 10 toes, just like one or two. Borrowed some money from grandma, and she let me, allowed me to start the business that I started up back then. I was working. I was also working a second job, and I was going to school. So it was a time in my life where I was like, I really need to figure this out. So got introduced to it, and I was immediately intrigued, just the business to business aspect of this, the professional aspect of it. That's kind of what intrigued me about it. And yeah, this is a very tough industry. I would say that my naivete was a huge factor. I mean, I was in my 20s. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And, you young and dumb, and you make a big leap of faith. At the time, I didn't think it was that big of a leap of faith, to be honest. I thought it was fairly calculated in the respect that I could have gone and got a job and made the same amount of money that I was making before, had some experience, or start a business. And so that's, why would anybody do this? At this point it's changed. I'll tell you though, the history of how, of this industry, what has changed in the industry has been, I would say a heightened level of professionalism as an industry. When I started, our marketing material was business cards. We didn't even have trifolds. I mean, it was pretty atrocious, I would say, and really, that's another area that I found was an area I felt like confident in, that I could lean a little bit deeper into marketing and messaging, and that gave me the confidence, and technology too. I think that's an important factor, really really important factor, especially back then. I grew up in the Bay Area, and I was surrounded by tech industry as you were. So you see your friends and you see your family, especially in the early .coms, the late 90s, getting into stuff that like, what? How many millions are being pumped into this? And what is this? It's vaporware? Or what? I mean, to us, it just didn't make any sense. Like, and then, so being surrounded around that, I immediately gravitated towards how could technology help a company. My early foray with my previous employer, again with scanners. I mean, I saw an immediate difference with scanners compared to those projection machines and paper to paper. I really remember a story. It was hilarious, and there was only a couple paper to paper people, and this guy had a dolly and a literal copy machine on top of the dolly, and he was wheeling it. I saw him wheeling it out of a hospital. He had taken literal paper-to-paper copies, and that was interesting. Yeah. So technology also, I felt like I had a good grasp on, what was latest. For example, we started online. We were located in the middle of California, Visalia. No clients to be spoken of there. So we had to figure out how to reach clients all over the state from the get. our system was born online. We did not do any sort of server-based system. It was an online system to generate the subpoenas and follow up on those things.
Very, very early adopter of cloud technologies, which is awesome.
Yeah. So, those things, those basic things that I talk about, those all gave me some confidence and gave me confidence throughout.
Gotcha. Yeah. Nice. How about passion? Like, you talk about workers' compensation, obviously, respect and care for the injured worker and helping people. But I'm interested. How did you find passion in a job like this that's so, regulated and complex?
It took a while. I'm going to say it took a while, like more than 5 years, at least more than 5 years. I can't remember the exact moment, but there was a moment where it was an aha moment, and where I was like, wow, we're really doing something good here. We're doing something that's important, and we're doing something that is valuable. We're not making, we're not making widgets. We're not, there's so many industries out there that make things for consumer sake for no apparent reason, or no usefulness.
What, LOL dolls? Those things that are just like about unwrapping? Yeah.
Yeah.
Be hard to find passion there, for me at least.
Yeah, like the fashion industry. I don't know. It's like there's so many. I just recognize, like, again, it took a while, but I'm like, wow, we're really actually helping people. These people need help. These injured workers that are, out of work, can't support their family, have a tragic injury, lost a limb or something, or had some massive, emotional trauma from this stuff. It comes with the naysayers too, and the frauds out there, and we can't build a business around the bad apples. That's not. I don't think we can build an industry around bad apples. I think that's a terrible reason for change and that sort of thing, or foundational change. The foundation of what we do is still really important. It's to help injured workers. How did I get there? How did I find it? First, I suppose my first passion was just to support my family and support the employees that I committed to. When a new employee comes in, I shake their hand and I say, I'm committing to you as much as you're committing to me. So that drove me, really, I think, for the first many years is my commitment to my family, commitment to my, to my employees. I think that how do you find passion? Is it essential for success? I think there's always some sort of driver. You want to call it, we can call it a passion. It could be just any sort of driver that drives folks to serve, to work, to do something. Recognizing it, I think, is probably one of the harder things. I have family that worked for the post office, the whipping boy for what work maybe should not be. But I and you can see the life maybe being drained out of folks that are in just a completely dead end job or something that but I think that there's people that are in that job as well that find something. I think you got to. I think you have to. Otherwise, you're just going to lead somewhat of a miserable.
You're going to be unhappy for sure.
Right.
And I've been in those types of roles where once I came over to Gemini, I was like, wow, businesses can actually be enjoyable. That was something new. So in addition to the people aspect of it, because of the complexities, is kind of why I think I still just love it so much. Yeah. There's so much creativity you need to have to be able to work towards changing the industry, improving the industry, and not just the industry, even our own little department, whatever it may be, and the people around you, making life easier. And I think all that we've done here at Gemini is very on point to that, adopting lean, and recognizing that ethics should be our first word. Those types of things definitely
Well, it's a good point, and I think that that's actually pretty fun. The complexity about our industry and about our job, I love that. I love that. It's a puzzle, and I love when I bring in a new employee and I'm like, you'll never be bored. I look him straight in the eye. You will never. If you're bored, it's your fault.
Yeah. The Gemini way, it's not possible. Like, you could go any direction you want. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, it's the complexity is fun. I mean, in the law is fun. I think it's people say it's black and white. It's shades of gray, and it's what you can prove, not what the truth is. I hate that saying, but it's just that's law. It's not what is truthful. It's what you can prove. Truth is we could get into what is truth, but without doing that, I want truth. I love truth. I think that it's important. We want to get close to that as much as possible. We want to help our industry get as close to truth as humanly possible.
For sure.
And it's complex, the whole system, the whole court system is.
The David and Goliath aspect too. Mm-hmm. And like, we're winning, even though we're not, like, in terms of industry standards, like these gigantic mega insurance companies that have all this money. Like, we're able to go up, compete against those industries, and
right, the law lets that happen.
Yeah, and be successful.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's frustrating too, though. There's definitely times where you're like, why are they thinking in these terms? It's almost like, you talk about truth. It's like there's almost this belief system that, like, more people are doing fraud than doing good. And it's like, these people are injured. They're hurt. They need to just get back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important too. Just the whole, I don't know. Everybody loves an underdog. Mm-hmm. So these insurance companies are giant, and they, whether they win or lose, all they need to do is raise their rates. Mm-hmm. They have this weird, I don't know, what do you call it? It's control that is just, it can't be matched. They have, it doesn't matter. I mean, they want to save money, but that's their goal. That's their goal, is money more than anything, I'd say. And I'm sure there's arguments out there that they are there to deliver the needed and the necessary benefits that an injured worker needs, but we all know, like, there are bad apples from an injured worker's perspective. There are bad apples in insurance companies that their whole, their premise, their start to a case is, how do I make this go away?
Delay, deny, go away. Yeah.
To the best of my ability. Yeah. So yeah, the underdog thing is kind of cool, and yeah, we're, I like that. I'm everybody likes the underdog.
Yeah. Well, keep it up, Dan. You've been doing an excellent job. For sure.
Yeah. No, I think that we have a question on here. Why so I'm an entrepreneur. Let's just say that I'm for sure an entrepreneur. I'm like a dog,
you could just stop there. That works perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like a dog.
I see a moving car, a ball, and I want to chase after it. And I grew up, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. What has been, I think, different, why I've stuck with this is that it is so interesting. There's so much to learn. And the people aspect, like I think a lot of, when I talk to other business owners, I do a lot of networking, and a lot of business owners, they say that they would love their business if they didn't have any employees.
Oh,
yeah. And okay, that's cool. So I'm an introvert, so I get it. I'm not a huge, I don't like crowds and lots of people, but I love people. Love people. And this is what an incredible vehicle that we have. People spend, 40 hours of their week every week with us. To not value that and to not give it its proper, respect, number one. But when I'm tempted with other entrepreneurial things, it always brings me back to right here. I could spend that exact energy here and have a better return, because there's already people here. There's already people I'm feeding, and including myself. I'm tempted with entrepreneurial paths all over the place. I have a lot of business owner friends, they just do little side gigs. I'm going to start a restaurant or whatever the case may be. I just have stayed disciplined to put all my energy and focus into Gemini.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's been a good decision. Rock climbing gym though.
Yeah, something. I mean, I think we can stay relevant as long as we want to stay relevant, in our positions and such. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, in the history of Gemini, I think, from startup to now, there's a lot. There's a lot to be said, a lot of lessons learned. There's been some massive aha moments. I think what, though, has been really rewarding is to share those things with other people. Had I had those aha moments had I not been around for other people's aha moments and seen them flourish in those things, it's been every business has ups and downs, but yeah.
Cool. Any final thoughts on Gemini?
Well, I think we'll get into some nuances over the time that we're talking, over these next several podcasts in the future. But I think we got a good intro.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool. You know what's interesting to me is I wonder if others in the industry will listen to what you're communicating when it comes to respect for people, and then be able to actually do it. Right? I feel like they can't even compete with us, even if we give them the secret sauce.
Yeah.
It's more of you have to have that belief deep in your soul.
Yeah, it's a great question in the respect that and I don't know any other way. Again, that's why I started. It's how I felt like I could compete, and it's been proven. It's proven over and over again. I do believe that folks can, if they have that very basic premise, I'm sure they can compete.
Yeah, they have to have it. I got to get it.
Sure. And I would say, though, that there's 1,000 other layers that you put on top of that. Of course. So yeah, bring it on. I would love that. Of course, more employees more people that are treated with respect. We're fortunate people. So I'm happy to give that little nugget to whoever wants to listen to it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, good talking to you, and we'll see you again in a week or so.
Sounds good.